In the previous recording, we've seen how PCA finds the new attributes. It selects the linear combination of attributes that explain the maximum variance in the dataset. And at the same time, these attributes also happen to be the best attributes that can be used to reconstruct the original attributes. In this recording, we're going to see this in a more visual manner. Granny says, I still cannot believe that these two claims are equivalent. How can PCA come up with these new attributes that explain maximum variance and also result in minimal reconstruction errors? Albert says, let me explain with a drawing. Let us pick two pizza characteristics, perhaps size and price. Price is plotted on the y-axis and size is plotted on the x-axis. Here is what a plot of different pizzas could look like, a pizza cloud. And you can see that as the size increases, price increases. So these two characteristics seem to be related. A new property can be constructed by drawing a line through the center of the pizza cloud. And we want this new property to explain the maximum variance in the data set. We want this new property to be like work experience or salary, as per the example that we discussed in the previous recording. And this new property will be given by a linear combination, where the values of W1, W2 represent possible linear combinations, and out of all these possible linear combinations, PCA will select the best possible one. Let us assume the best possible one is 2 times price plus 3 times size. Now, how does PCA come up with that best possible linear combination? Look carefully. The black line that you see here, this represents all possible weights, W1 and W2 values that can be used to come up with these linear combinations. And these red dots that you see on the black line, they are the actual new attributes for different possible lines, which means for different possible weights. Granny asks, are these red dots the new attributes? Albert says, yes. But that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is this. As I said before, PCA will find the best line according to two different criteria. What is best? What is best is defined by two different criteria. What are these two different criteria? First one, maximum variance. Second one, minimal reconstruction error. Consider the first one. The variation of values along this line should be maximum. Pay attention to how the spread of red dots changes when the line rotates. Red dots are nothing but new attributes, remember. How the spread is changing for different possible combination of weights, W1 and W2. You see that the spread is maximum at a particular point. What point is that? Look carefully. That point is coming up now when the line coincides with these magenta ticks. That's when you see a line that results in maximum variance. A new attribute is formed by weights calculated at this moment of time where this black line coincides with magenta ticks, and that's the point of time where the variance is maximum in the data set. So that means this new attribute explains the variance, explains the maximum variance in the given data set. Prof.Albert says, correct, you're right. Now let us look at the second answer. If we reconstruct the original two characteristics from the new ones are nothing but red dots. What are the original characteristics? Represented by blue dots. If we reconstruct the original ones from these red dots, those are represented by these red lines. The reconstruction error will be given by the length of the connecting red line. Right? You see the lengths of these red lines also changing for different possible combination of weights. Observe how the length of this red line changes while the line is rotating. Can you see now where the total length of all these red lines reaches minimum? At which point of time will the total length of all these red lines reach minimum? The point is coming up now when the line again coincides with the magenta ticks. Again, when the line codes magenta ticks, that's when the total length of these red lines is minimal, which is nothing but we are saying the reconstruction error is minimum at the same point when the new attribute explains the maximum variance in the dataset. You see that when this line is now coinciding with the magenta ticks, you say that the spread of these red dots is maximum and the length of this reconstruction error is minimum. That is exactly what Granny also found out. Both of them reached the same time. When the line points to the magenta tick, that's exactly what we have discussed in the previous recording. That's what Prof.Albert says. This line corresponds to the new pizza attribute that will be constructed by PCA. This new attribute is called the first principal component. We generally say features, properties, attributes. But the technical term for this is principal component. This is how PCA comes up with these new attributes that explain the maximum variance in the data set and also attributes that will result in minimal reconstruction error when you're trying to get the original attributes from these new attributes. Granny is excited and she says, nice. So this is how Professor Albert explains the most important concept in machine learning, principal component analysis, to our Granny. If you have more questions, drop an email to saicharantej@mlfeedback.com for any more queries regarding this discussion. Until then, this is Machine Learning Granny signing off.